Hello, everybody, and welcome back to In the Light Divination. Today's podcast is brought to you by me. All right, so what do you need to change? Fire signs. That is the title of today's video podcast. And I'm just curious, what is it that you need to change? You know, October is about like new beginnings and changes and all that kind of stuff. So I was just curious, what do you need to change? All right. So let's get into this reading here. We're going to cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. As always, fire signs. If you're listening to me audibly, please consider subscribing or following or whatever it is, liking the video. And if you're seeing me here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. The podcast is called Into the Light Divination. You can find it on some platforms. I'm still trying to get it on some other platforms, all right, just so you know. But you can find it if you're looking. I don't know where, but I know that you can find it. With that being said, we are going to cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space here. All right. And also, if you are interested, I have a Ko-Fi. So it's https colon / ko hyphenated fi.com. I think it's like / into the light divination. And that will bring you to my Ko-Fi account where I will have podcast episodes available. All right. And I will try to link it below, of course. And yeah, there'll be additional podcast episodes available depending on the tier you choose. I also have like bonuses for YouTube videos, as well as Ko-Fi has their very own like readings kind of available to them only. So if that's something you're interested, all right, just putting it out there. And all right, cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. Cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. Cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. Spirit guide, guardian angels, ancestors, we ask you to join me today in this reading for the fire signs. What do they need to change? All right. What is the information for the fire signs? What do they need to change? Let's start with Aries, please. Aries, what do you need to change right now? What is about you that you need to make some changes are? What do you need to change, Aries? Okay. Aries, so some of you are a little bit unjust with yourself with the Justice card in reverse, with the Queen of Cups in reverse. Some of you need to work on the way you express your emotions. And then with the Three of Wands in reverse, some of you need to really face what it is that you want to do, okay? So I see some of you with creativity and passions that it's time for you to actually focus in on what it is you actually want to do, okay? That is something very important for you to acknowledge, all right? So what else can we get here for the information? Let's clarify that Justice in reverse, please, okay? So you have the Ace of Cups in reverse, the Fool in reverse, and the Wheel. So what that's telling me for the Justice, feeling a little bit unjust. Maybe you're being unjust to yourself. Maybe you're not being fair to yourself, all right? Maybe you're being too critical. With the Ace of Cups in reverse, that kind of does show that. Definitely you're being a little bit too critical of yourself. The Fool in reverse is also showing that you have a little bit of fears of taking new directions, okay? But with the Wheel, it does show that eventually you will feel confident in taking new directions, okay? With the Queen of Cups in reverse here, Aries, let's get that clarified. How about for you? And let's see what kind of information we can get further from that Queen of Cups energy, okay? Let's see here. All right. All right. Let's see what we can get here for you, Aries. So Aries, you have the 8 of Wands in reverse, the 5 of Swords in reverse, and the 9 of Swords in reverse. So with the Queen of Cups in reverse, I am seeing that you are not being very great with your emotions, even with yourself, okay? Some of you may have a hard time expressing them, all right? With the 8 of Wands, I do see some kind of, oh, wow, we're going to take that card back. The Knight of Pentacles was underneath that, but we don't need that. We want this card because we don't take surprise cards. So 8 of Wands in reverse is definitely telling us that there is some kind of committal energy. So obviously, if you are working on your emotions, it might be working on your emotions in a relationship. Then you have the 5 of Swords in reverse. So I see this, you not listening to the negativity that other people are bringing. I see like some of you are dealing with people that are trying to like talk badly about your partner or something. Okay. And then the 9 of Swords in reverse, it's like a whole community aspect where you're like, you know what? I'm done with y'all. I'm done with it. I'm just so done. I'm leaving y'all. Some of you could be moving away from family because you may see them as a little bit toxic energy and they may be causing complications in your connection. Okay. Some of you may be in a long distance connection and moving towards that person, and maybe other people around you are trying to tell you that's not a good idea, but maybe you know better than they do, right? Sometimes people, families, friends, whatever, don't actually know your partner, especially if you're in a long term, right? But you do. So that's just something I'm kind of seeing here. Okay. But the 3 of Wands in reverse, I do see. For the clarification here, you have the 5 of Wands. So you do have building energy from this, like, not sure what direction. You have the opportunity to build not only passions, but in connections as well as yourself. Okay. And then with the 2 of Swords in reverse, once again, this is you not listening to negativity because you go 5 of Wands and then you got the 3 of Pentacles. Eventually, some people may show community on building stability with you. Okay. So I do like that for you, Aries. That's beautiful. All right. So that's for your changes. What do we have for Leo for their changes, please? What changes does Leo need to make? What do they need to know? What do they need to hear? What do they need to see, please? What does Leo need here? What is the advice for Leo, please? All right, Leo, what we're seeing here is the 9 of Cups. So definitely working on that self-love and emotions. Okay, the Star, working towards your dreams, and then the Magician, you do have a little bit of stagnancy energy kind of holding you back. Now that's not a negative thing, like I do see you getting here, but I do see once you get there you kind of get a little bit stagnant, unsure where to go from there. All right, so let's find out some more information. Let's get that 9 of Cups energy. What can we find out about the 9 of Cups, please? What can we find out about that 9 of Cups, please? All right, that 9 of Cups gives you the answer of the Hierophant in reverse, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Chariot in reverse. So, Leo, we have the Hierophant in the reverse. So, not quite seeing something clearly for yourself or a lack of commitment in something, okay? The 6 of Pentacles, I do see equal give and change. And then with the Chariot in reverse, I don't see you really going anywhere. All right. So that's good. What is the Star card, right? What is the Star card, please? What is the Star card for Leos? Leos, you have the Death and Rebirth in reverse, the 6 of Cups in reverse, and the Fool card. So the Star card is saying like you do have the opportunities, right? The Death and Rebirth is saying stay on the path that you're staying on. Some of you may be a little bit negative about it though, okay? Fears. I'm seeing a lot of fears, and with that Fool card clarifying that, even I see a fear. So you get to this point, and it's like, where am I going from there? And all of a sudden, your fears come in, and that's where this part happens. Okay, so you may hit a dream, but maybe there's more to that dream, and that's where you're gonna block yourself because you're gonna feel like like you peaked, but you didn't. You have the opportunity to grow from that. So, what is the Magician, please? Okay. The Magician is the 7 of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. So what I'm seeing here is walking away from your mental fears. The Queen of Swords is seeing the truth in the situation, right? And the Two of Pentacles in reverse is you may be a little bit unbalanced, but I do see once you kind of evaluate yourself, you will see some kind of balance, even though currently you may not be balanced. I also see some people complaining to you about work-life balance, okay? And some of you may be really working towards your dreams on something, and if they don't understand that, sometimes I know people can get jealous in that, so maybe that could be a part of it. Sometimes you just got to take stuff with a grain of salt, okay, Leo? Finally, Sagittarius. What do we have for our Sagittarius friends, please? What do they need to change about themselves, or what change do they need? What is it for Sagittarius, please? The changes for them. Okay, Sagittarius, you have the Justice card, the Nine of Swords, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay, so Sagittarius, this is interesting. Okay, the Justice card is you're seeking balance, right? The Nine of Swords is listening to negativity, and I see like a flock of people, right? Or it's yourself thinking a flock of a million things negative. However, with the Eight of Swords, I do see you being able to leave that mentality and really understanding that you are the only person that can really do anything, right? You're the only person that can better your life, not anybody else, really. And you're the only one that's really going to be your own advocate at the end of the day. So let's get that Justice card clarified here. You have the King of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and then you have the 10 of Cups. So what I'm seeing here for you, Sagittarius, is the Justice card. You want balance, balanced emotions with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. You want to work on something, you just don't know how to get there, okay? But then you have the 10 of Cups. So I do see a little bit of emotional turbulence for some of you, okay? Could be in a connection very well being. All right, let's get that Nine of Swords. What is the information that Sagittarius needs to know about changes in that Nine of Swords, please? What is it that Sagittarius needs to know? High Priestess, the Devil in reverse, and the Three of Cups in reverse. Okay, so Sagittarius, you have the Nine of Swords. There might be a lot of people really getting on your case about something. The High Priestess is a higher knowing being. The Devil is leaving negative energies behind, or toxic traits, or whatever. Shopping addictions, whatever. You get what I'm saying, okay? And then the Three of Cups in reverse is a lack of community. So even with that toxicity, you may have to leave a community space where people are not treating you right. Maybe they're just keep hating on you all the time, right? So it's causing a little bit of conflict is what I'm seeing for you. Okay, and finally, what is that Eight of Swords in reverse, please? So you have the 10 of Pentacles, the Moon in reverse, and the Wheel. So this is saying it could be endings and beginning, like endings and new beginnings with that 10, or you're going to find a place of stability. The Moon in reverse is leaving that kind of introspective energy, not seeing illusions anymore, and kind of escaping that, right? With the Wheel, I see you moving forward, whether or not they're with you. It's kind of like if you F with me, you F with me, and if you don't, see you later. So finally, of course, let's do a collective reading for the fire signs, as always. So fire signs, what do we have for you in the collective energy today? What is the collective energy for the fire signs for change? I see a little bit of complications there. What is the fire sign? So if you have a fire sign, moon, rising, Venus, or something like that, I see a little bit of conflict, even like a Mercury, Jupiter, and a Mars. For some reason there might be a little bit of conflict for you about something. I just heard Pluto as well, so maybe check out your birth chart to see. I normally don't say that, but clearly there's something there for you fire signs. Okay, what is your change? The Nine of Cups in reverse, the Eight of Cups, and the Seven of Swords in reverse. So I do see some of you, Nine of Cups in reverse is some of you aren't really interested in love. You may be working on self more or less. Eight of Cups is leaving emotional baggage behind. And the Seven of Swords in reverse is there may be some kind of negative communication, or this could be you very well being honest with yourself about the negative aspects of your life, right? That's just what it's showing up for me with the cards. They don't really mean that, but that's what that's showing up. So next we have the the Knight of Cups in reverse, and that is the Seven of Wands in reverse. So if you're not really connecting with somebody on a love level too much, I do see you lacking a little bit of peace with that Seven of Wands. With the Four of Pentacles, I do see you holding back energy a little bit. And the Six of Wands in reverse, I do see a little bit lack of passion or a little bit of understanding that you may be reliant too much on another person, okay? With the Eight of Cups, let's see what we have here for you. Fire signs, you have the Four of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords in reverse. So with the Four of Cups, you definitely have a leaving this kind of emotional stuff behind. However, some of you are not able to see the light, okay? You go down in the cups, so I don't like that. So some of you may hit a depressive state, or you're already in it. And if you are, please remember to see that there's this rainbow here. I mean, if you can't hear me on audio, or see it on audio, obviously, sorry. There's a rainbow on the Four of Cups. The girl is looking away from the rainbow, right? And it is filling one of her cups up, right? So that's something to acknowledge, that there is always light in the dark of a situation. With the Two of Pentacles, I do see you finding balance. And then the Queen of Swords in reverse is cutting off any kind of negative thinking or other people that are causing negativity to you, okay? And finally, with the Seven of Swords in reverse, let's get that clarification, as it is important to know, okay? So, Five of Wands, Three of Wands in reverse, and the Strength card. So, like I said, you may have to face some own truths for yourself, right? And be honest, but not too critical. With the Five of Wands, you were able to build up on passions, and that the Three of Wands in reverse, I do see this as not really finding a new direction. So, for some of you are in a career path, I see that maybe you're just going to stick with what you know and not find a new passion. But some of you may feel unsure about it, right? And then you're going to need to have strength with the Strength card to really understand what it is you truly want in life, okay? So I hope that helped you. I hope that helps you bring some changes. If it didn't resonate, obviously leave it for somebody else. I appreciate you as always, and I hope you have a lovely, wonderful, fantastic day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And as always, I appreciate you, and I'm sending you all love and light. Thank you for listening to the Into the Light Divination podcast. Goodbye.